Hello, video request talking about my my little pyramid bed. So my little pyramid bed, it is about I don't know exactly how wide it is, but it's a little bit wider than my bed. I can fit a little bedside table inside of it, so I can put my computer there, and I have on the top there, and I have my fan there for the summertime to blow wind in my face, and I have my little heater there to keep me warm. Push the button whenever I get cold at night. Little bedside light. I have a crystal on the top, and then this dangles down to have my crystal over my chest for when I'm laying on my back. I've had some pretty bad insomnia since I started sleeping in this thing. I get up like for 2 hours every single night in the middle of the night. But I have my energy, all the energy I need during the day. But so I made this thing to be the same exact shape because I figured out how wide and how high the Great Pyramid of Giza is. If you can look at the Great Pyramid of Giza, you can kind of see that it's same dimensions as my pyramid thingy. And also, ooh, I forgot to look at the King's Chamber. If you look at the King's Chamber, here, let me type there. Oh, here we are. It's right here. If you look at the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid, you can see that it's like there. Oops, it's like it's something like halfway down or something like that, or 2/3 of the way down if you actually do it mathematically. But I figured this to be so that crystal is about the same height as the King's Chamber. And it is about, that crystal lies maybe about an inch above my chest, and so it dangles right above my heart. If I'm lying, on the right side of my bed, my heart can be like right under that crystal. So I'm basically putting my heart into the same location as the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid is. And so the idea behind the King's Chamber of the pyramid is that it creates a torsion field. Things in this dimension, solid things in this world, can actually affect the way that energy moves. It can affect the higher frequency energy, the higher states of matter. And so that's what pyramids do. And you don't need something to be moving around. Something can be stationary and create a torsion field. Like say a rock in a river. It's sitting in the river and the water passes over it, and then the water curls behind the rock and creates a little like whirlpool eddy. And so now you have the rapids, So the rock is staying still, but it's influencing the water. So that's kind of how pyramids and lots of stuff, solid things here can work. Energy passes through and it sees something and it passes through that, and because energy, light is like a higher frequency matter than water, than liquid. So, and they have done scientific experiments with torsion fields. I read a book. What was that book by Glenn Hoagland? But yeah, like they'd spin these bars around in a cylinder, in a hermetically sealed cylinder where there's no wind or anything, and then they'd stop the bar completely. And then they'd start the bar up again. And normally it would take like a minute for it to get to speed. But if you stopped it and then started up again, it'd pick up speed really fast. And traditional science can't explain why it does that. But if you have the idea of torsion field, then it explains it. So you're creating the bar spinning around really fast. The cylinder spinning around really fast is actually picking up all of the energy around it and making that spin around too, which is helping it, picking up the momentum. And so then you stop the cylinder, and you see the cylinder stop. Well, that higher dimensional energy that we can't detect with any machines yet is still spinning around, and so it helps it spin around again. Kind of like an egg. Like a way you can tell an egg is hard boiled or if an egg is just a raw egg is if you spin a raw egg around and then you stop it and then you let go, it starts spinning again because all the little gooiness is still spinning around. Whereas a hard boiled egg, it all stops because it's all solid. So anyway, that's the idea of torsion fields. There's other examples of that too. Like when you spin if you shoot a spinning ball up in the sky, up in the air, it can go a lot higher, and it stays a lot. It holds its trajectory a lot tighter than if it's not spinning it at all. And you can understand how it would hold its trajectory because the centrifugal force holding it around would hold it in place, but it can also go higher. And so that's why when you shoot bullets, they spin. They have the little corkscrew inside the gun. So that's the idea of torsion fields, and that's what pyramids are. They're creating torsion fields. Energy passes through the earth, and it goes through certain pathways, and you can create pathways by making certain shapes. Kind of similar to feng shui. Like with the earth, we have it's like the relationship between round things, curved things, and angular things. Like male and female. Female is curved and male is angular. So, like the most simple shape. Now we're getting into sacred geometry. The simplest shape is the circle, is the sphere. That's the simplest female shape. The simplest male shape would be the tetrahedron. It's a triangle. It's a three-dimensional triangle. A triangle, and then with a little end off it. So then it's like similar to a pyramid. But you can put a tetrahedron inside of a circle, and that's the relationship between the two, like male and female, and so because energy travels through gateways, so you go directly to the gateway and then you turn, kind of like when you're driving a car. You drive down the road and then you get to the intersection, then you take a left and then you go down that way. You don't just like, or if that would be like the masculine way of traveling. Or if you're in a plane, you're flying over the earth and you're actually following the sphere of the earth. So it's the relationship between the two. And so when energy passes through the cosmos, it passes through, directly, from one, since it's all relative and everything is revolving around everything, it's all curving. Everything, energy travels curving in the big picture. But if you're looking at just, this star to that star to that star, it to you it appears to be going straight. And when energy comes in to a sphere, it comes in through a certain area in the sphere. It comes through the tetrahedron, where the tetrahedron touches the surface of the sphere, and kind of gets like spiraled into it. And it's like inside of our Earth, we have a giant. We have an invisible tetrahedron. Actually, the ancient Greeks, like Plato, that's why they're called the Platonic solids. Plato described that, and all of the ancients thought that, that the moon was a giant diamond shape, and then when Galileo invented the telescope and they looked at it, they saw that it was just a rock, and that kind of blasted their whole opinion away. Oh no, what happened? Well, in the higher dimensions, it's a crystal. It's like a diamond. And same thing in the center of the earth. We have like a round molten lava magma, but that's in our dimension. But that's just a solid representation of, in the higher dimensions, it's actually structured like a crystal. It's structured like a very complex, angular pathways of energy. Like one of those crystals with lots of different, when you spin it around the disco balls and all the light goes everywhere because the light comes in it and shuts out, just lots of different angles and stuff. I think the octahedron would be the most complex of the Platonic solids, but that's the higher dimension. And so where those angles hit the sphere, those are vortexes where the energy passes through, because energy passes throughout the cosmos all the time. Like just like when you call somebody, your little radio wave has to go to the antenna, which goes to another antenna, and those are the nodal points. And so the nodal points on the sphere would be where the tetrahedron hits. And on the Earth, we have lots of places where the tetrahedron would hit. It's at 33.3 degrees from the equator, or 19.5 degrees latitude, and that's where the Great Pyramid of Giza is. That's where the Coral Castle in Florida is. That's where Los Angeles is. That's where lots of really powerful magical places are. Hawaii, Sedona on Mars, the Eye on Jupiter. And also, if you look at the top of Jupiter, you can see an actual octagon. 8-sided, like with kind of sharp turns, and so to show how energy passes through. So when you create a pyramid, they made the pyramids in Egypt at that place on the Earth, 19.5 degrees, because that's where a lot of energy passes through. And then they made the pyramid. Now I think that people who knew about sacred geometry and how the mechanics of it built the pyramid, because the pyramid is just magical. It's pointed true north, more perfect true north than the observatory of like London, which was built like in 1930. It's perfectly flat, like one side of it, it's only like less than 1/8 of an inch lower than the other. It's built with these giant stones that were carted from 60 miles away that are like 300 tons or something, stacked perfectly on top of each other, and then inside of it they have these giant granite stones stacked up on top of each other with air in between them. It's like way more complicated than it had to be. If they were doing was building a big mound of rocks with a little hole in the middle to put the dead guy. They built that to be a creator of vortex to suck energy into it. And they've done lots of experiments with pyramids. Like if you put like a apple or something inside of a pyramid, it won't go rotten. It'll stay fresh longer because the energy is passing through it. So mechanically, what happens with a pyramid is energy is coming from the out into the sphere, out of the world into here, and then from the inside of the world out, like going both ways, kind of like gravity, how we affect the moon and the moon affects us. And it's kind of, if you've seen that the cover of Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album, you can see kind of how, and also in prisms, it works with light as well, but you can see how there's that laser light coming right out of the top of the pyramid. I even have the t-shirt, maybe I'll bring it out now. But so what happens mechanically is the energy gets sucked out of the earth, and it from the bottom of the pyramid, from from a big wide swath, and then it gets focused into the middle of the pyramid, and then right at the king's chamber is when all those different energies from all the directions start to get dense and start to come together. And then as the king's chamber, because the king's chamber is where the pharaoh would lie, but then they have like 100 feet of like those granite blocks, which act as crystals. Granite is like 60% silicon or something like that. So it's actually a giant crystal. And so as that 100 feet of granite blocks is going up into the pyramid, all that energy, that hyperdimensional energy, is starting to get denser and denser and denser. And so by the time you're at the top of those granite blocks, it's been focalized into like a laser. And then by the time you get to the top of the pyramid, it just shoots perfectly straight up like a laser into the cosmos. And so the Great Pyramid had a big capstone that is now missing. So, people were thinking that it was like a giant crystal that was focusing energy and pointing it straight out in the cosmos. And then the other crystal was the other granite was the crystal inside. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm mimicking the Great Pyramid. that's my little capstone, shooting the laser beam straight up into sky, perfectly up in the sky and back in. And then the energy travels down that copper. And then that that crystal is where all of the energy, I'll even do it, is where all the energy is focalizing and coming together and then coming up. So my heart is right there. So my heart is right in the vortex where all the energy is coming in and then shooting out. So, and I can actually feel it, you know, I mean, your choice if you believe it or not. But yeah, I can actually feel it. Like if I'm laying under that thing, I can actually feel a burning sensation in my heart. It's like my heart's burning. It's like, I mean, it actually, in my mind's eye, what I see is burning light. Like, you know, when you get a magnifying glass and you shine it onto a bug. I never did it myself, maybe once or something. But you know how kids shine magnifying glasses on bugs and then they can burn them up because all the light is focusing on it and shooting into it, and then you burn it onto your like leg and you can feel the burning sensation. It's like it's like is that burning? You know, it's a different burning sensation than regular heat. It's like is that burning? Is that burning? Ooh, now it's burning. It's kind of like that. That's what it feels like. It's like a burning inside of my heart, kind of burning from the inside out. Or like it also kind of feels like pressure, like there's a lot of pressure there, or kind of like a pain. You know, like when you have like heartburn, it kind of feels like heartburn, like just like a sharp pain, but it doesn't hurt. But that's what it feels like when I put that crystal down. And I focus on it, I can actually feel it. And sometimes, you know, that thing is a little bit to the right of my heart because I have to fix it a little bit because that table's in the way and I don't know what I'm going to do. But most of the time I'm laying in the bed and my heart's a little bit to the right of the crystal, and I can actually feel the burning sensation a little bit to the right of my heart, like right where the crystal is. So, you know, it's like I can actually feel it shooting down. It's really similar to when you put your finger in front of your nose. If you put your finger like this far in front of your nose, you can feel your nose tingle, even though your finger isn't actually touching your nose. Yeah, see, I'm feeling my nose tingle right now, and that's because my finger is sending out energy. You know, your fingertips are little vortexes that shoot laser beams out. Just, you know, they're nodal points, like what are they called? Acupressure points. You know, you have one in the center of your hand right here. And so that's why when you put your finger out here, yep, see, now I feel it's instantaneous. My nose is totally tingling right now. Yeah, now, and even when you take your finger away, your nose still is tingling. My nose is still tingling right now. So it's kind of like that. That's kind of, it's similar to that. But it's more like a burning sensation. But anyways, so the idea is that I'm just kind of focusing energy through my heart, because the heart is a tool that is an organ that channels energy and collects energy from the cosmos. Just it's like it's one of your glands. It's your heart chakra, you know. And I think the heart even secretes. See, a gland is something that secretes a hormone, so it can communicate with the rest of the body. But it's also an anchor point for your chakras. So, you know, like your sexual chakra is your balls, your testicles, which is a gland which can secrete semen. Or, I mean, not semen, the hormone, testosterone. And then the women, they do the estrogen. And then, you know, like your hypothalamus, your throat chakra would be there's another gland in here, hypothalamus, which secretes a hormone. Your pineal gland secretes melatonin, and that's your crown chakra. And all of the chakras secrete. Just look up endocrine system yeah. So that's just our chakras are communicating with certain different energy aspects of the cosmos and communicating. So if our heart is already communicating with the outer cosmos and with each other, then to put your heart inside of a vortex kind of it's kind of like putting your heart on steroids. It's like you're increasing the energy that's passing through there, that's already passing through there, and you're building it up. Like you're building up your heart muscle in the chakra. You're building up your heart chakra, and and then when you focus on it, even if you're not in the pyramid, you can feel your heart burn, and so it's a cool tool. Now I've noticed since I started sleeping in it a couple months ago when I first moved here, battery's going to die soon. I noticed that I have really bad insomnia, like I don't sleep, but I have plenty of energy during the day. So I think that thing is making it so that that I can I can get by with less hours in the day, since it's my heart, maybe it'll make me more empathetic. I mean, I do have plenty of empathy in my heart. Like a fish died today. One of my fish died, and my heart kind of hurt a little bit. And I don't know. It brings you more in tune. But it doesn't, some people, my mom was like, oh no, that's sketchy. You don't want to use it. It'll give you insomnia and you'll never get to sleep, I think it's maybe it could be overwhelming. Maybe it won't. I'll do a report on it. But so far I like it. I like having that thing. Like some people say, like it looked uncomfortable. That thing would be a pain in the ass to have if I was sleeping on the floor. But I'm living like high up on a bed. So when I get out of it, when I slip out of it, I just put my legs down and I can get out of it real easily. In fact, maybe I should I don't have my tripod, so I don't know if I can aim it. Actually, I do have my tripod. Here, hopefully the battery will last long enough for me to show this. I'll demonstrate how I get in and out of this thing, because it's pretty simple. Okay, just a second. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay, watch this. This is how I get in and out of it. It's pretty simple. And I built it out of copper because copper is what we use to transmit electricity, and so light is a form of electricity. So copper is a good conductor of this energy. It's the whole thing made out of copper. So I'll get one of my pillows. So I just have this thing hung on here. I just drilled a hole through this and had a little hook there. So I just get in like that, and then when I sleep, I'm like this, and this is like right over my heart chakra. Like I go down here, this is where my head normally is, and here's my heart. So it's right over my heart chakra, about an inch over my heart, and I just lay here and I focus on it, and I actually already feel the burning feeling. And then when I get up, I just hook this there, and I'm up. And I can use the computer on it. I can put here, I'll even show you. Works great with the computer. I just go like this. I mean, it's a little bit more of a pain to get in, but I put it on my chest. Then I can work away, or I can put the computer on the other side, outside of the pyramid, and I put my little external keyboard here and I can still see. And then when I go to bed, I just put the computer here, and I can still access all my things on my table, and I have a little area here too. And so I haven't been tempted to get rid of that. It hasn't been a pain in my neck yet. It's been working out just great. And I know, I mean, maybe one of these days I'll get sick of it and I won't use it anymore. I won't feel the need for it, and I'll just, feel the urge to get rid of it, and then maybe I'll give it to somebody or something like that. But so far I haven't gotten rid of it. I like it. I like laying in there. I feel like I'm in a like little sacred space. I'm like in my little fort. You know how little kids are? Little kids make their little forts, and they put the blanket over the dining room table, and then they let the blanket fall over, and then they're inside and they're cozy in their little like private area. That's kind of how I feel like in that thing. Like people even beds, they have the big frame over with the sheets fall over, like the princess, I kind of feel like that. That's my little cryo chamber. And And, you know, I think it really works if you focus on it, you know, like if you believe in it. If you're just a normal person, you're like, I gotta get in this fucking cage thing, and then you sleep by it. Maybe it'll have it probably would have an actual physical effect and give you insomnia, give you energy and all that kind of stuff. But if you actually focus on it and you put that crystal down and you lay, you can actually like, it's intense, you know, like, I can feel there's a lot more energy when that crystal's down, when the crystal's not down. When the crystal's not down, I'm moving around. When the crystal's down, I'm laying there on my back. I'm like, it's almost like I can't hold it there too long. Like I get like, you know, anxious. Like I get like, you know, I want to like lay on my stomach all of a sudden, you know. So it's, you know, I can feel it, something I can feel. So I think it's developing my energy. You know, since I moved here, I've had lots of energy, and I've had lots of like fortitude and, you know, conviction and strength, you know, even anger. I think it's, you know, like my heart, you know, anger is an emotional feeling. And, you know, I'm like becoming, it's making me strong. Like in my heart, I have a strong heart. I have a strong, like, desire and self-worth and, you know, conviction, you know, like nobody, I'm on my trajectory and I know what I want and I know what I'm doing and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks type of a thing. And I think I got a lot of that from that. Like I have a lot of those intense feelings. Like all of my feelings become very intense and big and grandiose. You know, like I feel really grandiose, you know, like, oh, me, ah. I'm in my own little world, you know, I don't need to communicate with any outside world. Because like the whole world's coming to me. This little thing is sucking the entire universe into me. So I'm in my own little world, and I don't need to like cling to anything out there, you know. Like so, yeah. Anyways, I'm pretty antisocial. I don't need to go and hang out with people or like do other things, you know. I don't know. It kind of makes me feel like a little universe unto myself. But that's kind of physically what's happening. It's bringing the whole universe into my heart. So yeah. Anyways, that's the explanation of my little pyramid. I brought it. I actually constructed it by drilling holes into the edges of those copper tubes, which I bought at the hardware store, and they're thin. I guess I'll do a zoom in on how thick the tubes are. I don't know how thin those are. Maybe ½ inch. I'll show how big it is next to my finger. You know, about the same thickness as my finger, you know. There's it next to my thumb. And yeah, so I just drilled in the little holes, and I got the other copper wires to wire around here, wire around there to hold it together. And it's also flexible, so I can fold it down. When I take that thing off, all I have to do is, it just folds. I just pull it, and it just goes, folds flat. And then when I bring it up, I just bring it up, and I maybe like tighten it up a little bit, and then that's it. And this coil thing holds my pyramid, or holds my crystal. And I have a double-sided crystal. When the crystal points on both ends, that means it can shoot energy that way and shoot energy that way, and then take energy from that side and take energy that side, which is the effect that you want, or that I want, because it shoots lasers, you know, from both sides. And this one's lit the same way. They're both actually like that. So, and this one, that's the short one, like the capstone, and that one's long, like the long crystal in the pyramid. So it's just mimics what the wise ones did in the ancient times, and they knew. I'm sure they knew what they were doing because they're using technology we don't even understand. You know, we couldn't build a pyramid today. You know, if they're going to build a pyramid in like 20 years, like they say they did, they would have had to place a stone every 20 seconds. It's impossible within the monsoon, you know, the monsoon season. So it's you know. And then look at the Temple of Baalbek, you know, 1,000-ton stones and stuff. I mean, so those people knew what was going on, and I think they built it to put the king in there to you know, have him. It's called the Halls of Ameti. It's in the Corpus Hermeticus. It explains it. It's from ancient writing, and they would get in there to be able to like live forever and have like psychic powers and see the other side, you know, higher dimensional stuff. And so I'm just trying to recreate it in real life on a smaller scale, basically. Okay, so that's that. Peace out.